Hi everyone, and welcome to this tutorial. In this video I'm going to be demonstrating the game that I would have developed using the ClickTeam Fusion application. So here, as you can see, I went ahead and started the application, and we already have the game built out. So let's go ahead and open that project. So here we see the MFA file that we're going to use within the software. So the name of the project was called Application 1, and we had two separate frames that makes up the entire game. You see each of these objects here, which are included in the first frame, and in our second frame we also have quite a few objects as well. Most of these are similar with the exception of the type of bricks that are being used. So let's take a look at frame 1. First we have the event viewer, and you can see each of the events that are listed for the first frame. And then we move on to the frame editor so that we have a visual representation of what our frame currently looks like. So this could be considered as level 1 of the game, or I guess you could also call it frame 1 as it's actually called within the application. So you see we have the score, we have the number of lives that will be used, along with all the other objects of our first frame. And of course the intention here is that the ball will be able to interact with all of these objects. And then we move on to our second frame, and it seems that we would have forgotten to add our background. So we can go ahead and do that now before we demonstrate the frames in action. Let's go over to the tutorials, and we would use the Choco Brick tutorial. So from within this library, we can go ahead and make use of the sky background. There it is. So we simply drag it up to our canvas and release, and we see that the background has been successfully applied. So of course the things to note here is that the bricks are different in color from the previous frame, and they also interact differently when they come into contact with the ball, or when the ball comes into contact with them, I should say rather. So with that in mind, all the other elements are pretty much the same in terms of the score and the lives, etc. So now we'll go ahead and demonstrate the frame in action. And as you can see, the ball ricochets anytime it comes into contact with an object. The score goes up by 10 for each brick destroyed, and if the ball passes the bottom of the screen, you lose a life. Once you've lost all 3 lives, the application will automatically end. So now we will demonstrate our second frame, and you can see the difference with the interaction with the ball and the blocks. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to record the computer audio, but there is also sound when the ball comes into contact with anything. There is also a sound effect that is in use whenever the player loses a life. So let's demonstrate how the levels work. Based on the 9th condition on the list here, once the last brick has been destroyed, the game will automatically proceed to the next frame to give the effect of levels once you have accomplished the first one. So that's the general idea behind the design of my game.